Hey, there I am. YouTube, how you doing out there? Scarpad from Scarpad's Comic Treks coming at you. Little special Sunday night broadcast here. We're talking about a little cock, baby. Yes, that's right. We're talking about Peacock, the streaming service. Remember, whatever you want to watch, it's on the cock. Well, Peacock has become one of the, I think, better, if not best horror providing service. There's other ones out there, but Peacock, which launched in September of 2020, has quietly built up quite a little library there. Now, of course, NBC Universal owns Peacock, and because of that, we're getting the vast array of the Universal library. And Universal, of course, going all the way back to the Universal Monsters, and then, of course, through the 80s and 90s and today, really a top studio for horror movies. So, and then you have, they quietly filled in with, well, first off, they filled in with the WWE. So I know my girlfriend's a huge WWE fan, so she loves watching and the live events. And of course, they used to be on their own service. Don't even know if they still are anymore, but they all jumped over to Peacock, streaming all that live stuff. Um, so that's one of the reasons they really took off. And I think I said there was 28 million uh, subscribers as of I think September of this year. So they've taken off pretty well because of the WWE. But then they slowly started filling in with other content, movies, and first run things. And they're getting, I think it's within a 45-day launch window. The Universal movies, so far they've gotten things like Black Phone, Jurassic Park Dominion. Uh, they got Nope. And I think you'll be seeing the latest Universal horror movie, Violent Night, which I went to see today with David Harbour as a killer Santa or a die-hard type Santa. And it was a fantastic movie. It's now become, I think, my favorite Christmas movie of all time. And there's some really good kills in this movie. Some people thought maybe, well, given the subject matter, it might be kind of, not very gory or violent. Well, no, it's good. There's some really decent stuff. Let's see who's in the chat right now. We just got Two Gun Pedro, Pew Pew Station, Two Gun. How you doing out there? We got some other people in there. Hopefully they'll pop in. Yeah, I did. I did as well. I subscribed for 99¢. Of course, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the rates. I think it's $4.99 if you want the level with ads, and Peacock is pretty good about their ads. At least the last time I viewed them, they'll put a couple short commercials on at the beginning of the movie, and then they will put a couple on at the end of the movie. I don't think they cut in during the movie, but maybe they do now. I'm gonna have to rewatch them. And then I think it's $9.99 for the level with no ads. Now, if you're a Comcast Xfinity cable subscriber, although I don't know how many people do that anymore, I think quite a few. My girlfriend has Comcast, and they offered the service first when it got up because obviously Comcast owns NBC Universal. So when that launched, everybody who had Comcast got subscribed to the service for free. So if you have a Comcast box, just type in to go to Peacock, the cock, and you'll get there. Now, granted, that's like a horrible fucking name for a streaming service. There's nobody out in the industry that even remotely thinks that Peacock is a good name for a streaming service because it's pretty god awful. But you'll get it for free and you'll be able to stream any of the movies. So it's great they're getting first run stuff. I'm sure that new movie that opened this week in Violent Night will probably be on there before the end of the month. I wouldn't be surprised that maybe you'll even see that on there like right before Christmas. They'll let it get its 2 weeks of money making, and then they'll pop it into the streaming service, which seems to be where a lot of these services are going, like Paramount Plus and so forth. They'll take a 2-3 week run, unless it's something that's doing, Top Gun Maverick level business. Top Gun Maverick was supposed to be on HBO Plus, HBO Max, long before it showed up, but because it did so well and became the top money grossing movie of the year, they wisely left it in the theaters and then put it on there. But other than that, you'll see things going to NBC Universal pretty quick, pretty quick. So that's nice that you get to see some of these movies. If you can't make out in the theater, they come on relatively quick after their theater debut. But slowly and surely, they start filling in their catalog, and now I think they're the go-to because Universal has such a rich catalog of titles, including the old stuff, the new stuff, the stuff in the 80s. But they also filled in with other things. They have Full Moon. So I'm going to take a look at a little bit of their horror section today and talk about it, look and discuss the movies they have. Why I think you can find this a really good service. In addition to all the other stuff they offer, like the NBC TV shows and the WWE, if you're a wrestling fan, you're going to get this great horror. They have other great movies too, and science fiction stuff as well. So I think it's really has become a great service. But before do that, let's jump back and see what Two Guns saying up here. Yeah, we talked about that, and then only the commercials at the beginning, and so do I. I think they pretty much have maintained where they don't bombard you like Tubi really barrages you with the commercials throughout the movie. And I wouldn't mind so much if it was different commercials, but you usually end up seeing the same 1 or 2 ads over and over, and often back to back for like 3 times, and it gets just really too much to handle. So, but the way Peacock does it, I think it does it fine. No problems there. So I'm really enjoying this. So let's take a look. I popped up here's Peacock, the cock, and they also own Sci-Fi Channel. So you're gonna get a lot of these things like Two-Headed Shark Attack, Sharknado, and sometimes some of those are pretty fun. So I told I want to just look at horror movies here. So let's take a look and see exactly what they have on the service right now. Now, some of these things I've never heard. Obviously, there's 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 12. I haven't heard of that. This is definitely a Sci-Fi Channel, 20 for below. Some of the stuff I've noticed was on Shudder. They get pretty quick. Alien Convergence. This one here, Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies. Man, that was not very good. The Amityville Haunting, American Werewolf in Paris. I've never seen that flick. I've seen the one in London. I don't know if I've heard too much good about that. Asylum, Attack of the Killer Donuts, Bad Moon. Yeah. A lot of 80s up here. We're going to get a lot of 80s you'll see when we start going into it. The Bell Witch Haunting. There's Ben. I went to see Ben when it was in theaters back in the, 72, probably about 75. Ben was the sequel to Willard, which was a movie about killer rats. And Ben was actually a song that was sung by Michael Jackson. And actually had a big hit out of it. And that's why that movie's, pretty well known. Better Watch Out. I don't think I remember that one, 2017. The Beyond, that's a classic 81 horror movie. There's Black Phone. As you can see, it says streaming only on Peacock. So they're getting stuff like that. We have the original version of Black Christmas. Dylan can be relaxed that it's not the 2019 Blumhouse one that if you guys watched the show last night that we went on about over and over again. Black Roses, that's another 80s. Blades, I don't remember that one, 1989 Blades. Blood Hook, I don't remember Blood Hook. Two Gun Pedro saying that Better Watch Out was good. Was it? All right. Any of these you see in the chat, pop in the chat, Two Gun, if you think you see something here I should watch. Of course, Body Bags, that was a good one, John Carpenter. A lot of these I don't know. The Breed, I think, remember that one. Cannibals and Carpet Fitters. Okay. Camp Coldbrook now. Isn't that the band girl there? The band camp girl? Uh, Changeling, that's a classic. Children, that's classic 80s. There we go. Class of Nukem High. That was like the biggest hit trauma ever had. I think it made like 5 of those movies. Cockneys versus Zombies. That was actually not too bad. This Company of Wolves is a classic. That just came out from Shout Factory. I gotta watch that 4K disc. Conjurer. I think that's part of the Conjurer universe. I'm not sure. Cooties. That was actually a dumb movie. I saw that one. Curse of the Crom. Don't remember that. Yeah, they get the Dan Curtis Dracula with Jack Palance. That's a version of Dracula that was done by the people who did Dark Shadows. In fact, they used a lot of the same sets because I think they filmed this right around the time Dark Shadows either ended or was continuing on, and they used a lot of the same sets they used for the soap opera. Dark Knight, the Scarecrow. Yeah, that's a 1981. That's that TV movie. That is a great movie. If you've never seen Dark Knights of the Scarecrow, definitely watch that one. Let's see if I can go back here and see if we get me paired up in the screen here, just so we can kind of see what's going on here. There we go. All right, I'm too big. I don't want that. I don't want it to be that big here. Yeah, that cuts off too much. There we go. All right, so let me see if I can. I don't know if I can make this. Hold on a second. Let me break this out here. Make that a little smaller. I know you like what I'm doing here. I should be doing this when I'm on a live stream. At least then I can see what the heck's going on here. There we go. All right. All right, so Day of the Dead, there we go. And that's that terrible remake of Day of the Dead. But the original one is right there too. Day of the Dead 2. Two of those horrible movies. I mean, they really could have come up with more horrible movies than that. Dead and Buried was a good one. That's a classic 80s. Dead Snow. This was actually not too bad, the Dead Snow. A lot of these I have not seen. Dogface, a Trap House Horror. No, I haven't seen that. Don't Kill It. That looks like Dolph Lundgren. Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. I remember that from the 70s. I don't know how good that was. There's one that we did on Dylan's Horror Show. So Peacock can become a good source for those Dylan Horror Show movies. And that's Eaten Alive. That was a great movie that we did that night. I think that's there's Robbie's favorite movie of all time, the greatest psychological horror film, The Exorcist 3. I don't know if I wonder what version they have of that, because let's find out. Yeah, that looks like it might be the original cut, not the longer one. I'm not sure. They don't say. But definitely get the longer cut. It's much better. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way again. Just so I can put this. All right. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, some of these like there's another Exorcist movie, Werewolf in Paris. We've been through there. We went back a little bit here. Let's go back up. Yeah, Day of the Dead. There we go. The Farm. I think I've seen that one. Fear. No, Fear Incorporated. Oh, they got the classic Frankenhooker. Yeah, that was a great flick. 1990. If you haven't gotten a chance to see Frankenhooker, you might want to go ahead and see that. Let's see. Looks like we keep on going down here. Probably better off to go up here again. There's Ginger Snaps, a really good movie. I think we're doing that on the show shortly. Hatchet. They have the first one at least. Oh no, that's Hatchet 3. Interesting, they have Hatchet 3, but they don't have the other Hatchet. Movies. Hell Night is another good one. And of course, they got Henry. And then anybody who's interested, there's that Henry 2, Portrait of a Serial Killer, Mask of Sanity. I never saw that. I'll probably watch it eventually. I understand it's not very good. But Henry, of course, was, I think, that was the first movie I did on Dylan's Horror Show when he invited me, and I've been on ever since. Really good movie. And Hostel, 2018. Now, we discussed that last night. I was never a fan of Hostel. I'm going to go back and revisit it because I consider those type of movies, like, I know those guys not want to hear it, like a snuff film or a torture porn. I don't mind gore and I don't mind, torture, but I kind of like more of a story. And it seemed like those movies I didn't feel had that great of a story, really, to them. I'm gonna go back and revisit them because sometimes I've changed my opinion on those movies. Now the Innkeepers. I don't know if that movie is back out again. I should have just made that the same thing. Hold on a second here. Let's see if I can make this a little smaller so I can have a little bit less of a problem here. No, I thought that maybe was that Ty West movie. I don't think it is. Kelly McGillis was in that. Okay. So every time I go into a movie like that, I have to go back up to the bottom, which is kind of annoying. They got It Chapter 2, but they don't have It Chapter 1. And I think that's a problem you're going to find on a lot of these streaming services is that they lose the rights to the movie and then they don't have it. That's why physical media for me, I tell you, I would never get rid of my discs. But I mean, I find that streaming like this is good when you want to check out a movie, whether you want to buy it or it's good, especially when we have shows like this where other people want to watch a movie, they don't own it. But I still got to own a movie if I really, really like it. Jack Frost, I remember seeing that one when I was young in 1997. Jigsaw. Once again, I was never a big fan of the Saw movies, but I'm going to go back and probably rewatch them. I am going to look forward to seeing some Christmas movies now that I watched that Violent Night today. I want to go back and watch some of the Christmas movies. I'm going to check out, I know it's not a horror movie technically, but I want to see that Fat Man with Mel Gibson and Walter Goggins because I love him from Justified and Sons of Anarchy. So I want to see that. Probably watch that. Krampus I've never seen, so I want to go ahead and watch that. They have that one. Luther the Geek. That looks like an interesting film. What year was that? From 1989. So they have a lot of these movies. Horror Magic was a good one, 1979. Night of the Living Dead, that's the 68, of course, version. Night of the Demons, Nightbreed. What else we have? Night Before Christmas, I never heard of that one. But here's Nope, streaming only on Peacock. Looks like they have the original. No, that's the remake of Nosferatu. I've never seen that. I'm interested in seeing that. See, they have a lot of films here that I really that I'm very interested in checking out. And that's why, I mean, this service is just really great. Phantasms, it looks like they have the majority of those. Pieces, Piranha, Pit and the Pendulums, we're back over here to the full moon stuff. This movie, The Pit, I never saw in 1981. Looks interesting. Prom Night 2. And here comes the Puppet Masters. It looks like I have a ton of the Puppet Masters. Hugh the Winged Serpent, which is a great 80s horror flick. Rabid. That's the remake of Rabid. I never saw that, the remake of it. I don't know how good that is. I remember seeing the original one, the Cronenberg one, which obviously that was okay. Let's go back over here real quick and see if there's anything else. Okay. Say the 14th, that's a great comedy horror movie. Saturn 3 is kind of a science fiction, but it could be classified horror. The Shockwaves is a great movie from 77 with, that's got, is it Peter Cushing, I believe, in it, one of his last movies. You got Sleepaway Camp, Stepfather 2. Okay, like here's a Peacock original. They did that They Them, which I still haven't watched, but I haven't heard too many good things about it. But now they're trying to get into producing their own stuff. Toxic Avenger, Tourist Trap, a great movie. Chuck Connors was in that. To the Devil a Daughter, I don't remember that one. Train to Busan is on here. Victor Crowley, The Visitor, that's another 70s, 80s one. When a Stranger's Calls. Yeah, they do have Willard, so they have both Willard and Ben. I'd like to probably rewatch those. I haven't seen them. I saw Willard was in the theater, I believe, back in the 70s. And that was an interesting flick. Here's You're Next. Zombie Night. And Zombies. That was kind of a fucked up movie, but it's all right. So that looks like pretty much everything they have for horror. Pretty good collection. I mean, it's a good mix of 80s and 90s and 2000s and stuff that just was in the theater. It's a really good mix of that. They do have the House of the Devil, which that's that Ty West film. I want to see that. In fact, I think Mia Goth was in that, so that's probably going to be one I'm going to check out pretty quick because I understand that was really good. Hell Night, yeah, that's with what's her face from The Exorcist, Linda Blair. Can't remember her name. Of course, Halloween Ends because Universal. So that was on there, and probably that was on there. What, the day after, I believe. Graduation Day, another 80s flick. Some of these I think I kind of missed going back last time. Ghost House. So, yeah, I mean, really, really interesting stuff. I jump back over here because, of course, I do not only the horror stuff. Of course, I do sci-fi. So, what we take a look at horror and sci-fi. Now, this is going to have a lot more of the sci-fi network movies here. A lot of these 100 Belows and 2012 Ice, close knockoffs of real movies. I like Alien Origin. I like this Alien Convergence where that looks like the poster for the other Alien movie there, like the old knockoff movie. Some of those are funny and some of them is terrible. So they have a lot more of those type movies here in the sci-fi than I saw Atlantic Rim. So they're really piling these on because of the sci-fi connection they have. Back in Futures are here, Battle Beyond the Stars, another classic. Of course, Battlestar Galactica, the new version of it, because NBC Universal aired that. a couple of Christmas movies. I'm sure they stuck in there just to have Christmas Comes to Willow Creek. I guess this is their sci-fi fantasy uh, selection. So Day After Tomorrow, the Death Race remakes. Some of these movies are cheating by having them in both horror and sci-fi, padding the numbers here. You remember this Free Jack from '92? Mick Jagger was in that from the Rolling Stones, I believe. Galaxy of Terror, great Roger Corman flick. This movie Gamer actually wasn't horrible. I find that some of the stuff Gerard Butler makes, it's very watchable, if not great. Of course, they have all the Harry Potters, or a lot of the Harry Potters. Highlander. This is coming out on a really good 4K special edition. So check it out if you like it. It's by the 4K. There it is. Howard the Duck, baby. Classic there. What else we got here? Journey to the Center of the Earth. That's the one with Brendan Fraser. I don't have the original, unfortunately. Lawnmower Man. That's number 2, which was terrible. Number 1 was okay. Let's see what else we got here. Maze of the Monsters. That's an old Tom Hanks TV movie, I believe. Mythicas. Freaking Mythica movies they make. Yeah, Robot Carnival. So I'm not seeing Robot Overlords. It's a full moon. The sci-fi selection here is kind of wanting, and so you can see Universal does a lot in the horror realm. They do a whole lot in the sci-fi realm, or if they do, they're not pulling them from here. Now, supposedly they also have Lionsgate as well. So some of these movies in the Lionsgate stable. But yeah, the sci-fi collection is definitely lacking. A Split Second. That was a decent Rutger Hauer dystopian movie. We'll have to do that in the show maybe some night. This movie actually I found interesting. This is from 2014. This movie, These Final Hours. That was one to check out. Apocalyptic movie. They get trancers. Unbreakable, which I guess is kind of a sci-fi fantasy. The Visitor again. Some of these, as I said, appearing twice. X-Men First Class. And if you guys are anybody out there is a big Star Trek, especially Deep Space Nine fan, check out this documentary, What We Left Behind, which is the looking back at Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's a really good documentary on it. Really worth watching. So that their horror section is better than their science fiction section. It's just kind of, it's a lot of schlock here, I feel, in this sci-fi section. They also have channels, which is a lot like, and we don't want to put too much on there because I won't get nabbed, but it's a lot like Pluto TV. Ad content, a lot of stuff from NBC, like Law and Order, Saturday Night Live, stuff they own from the USA Network and so forth. One of my personal ones from 1970s, I love Space 1999's up there. I recommend that. Of course, they got everybody's watching Yellowstone now. Here's Beast. Still haven't checked that out. I'd rather watch Cocaine Bear, though, I think, than Beast. This is a Beast that looked a little schlocky, but I may check it out because it's one of those movies I don't think I would have paid for in the theaters, but I'll check it out, throw it on, and see what I think of it. Of course, they had Jurassic World Dominion. They have an extended version here, which I have not watched. I think Dylan may have watched it. The original version was I thought was terrible. Absolutely, probably the worst Jurassic Park movie, and that's a hard thing to do because there's some bad ones. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, great show. They had the '70s show, so they have a lot of TV, a lot of old and new shows, but I think as a purely horror. That little thing on here, horror for you. See what they have in classic television here: Cheers, Monk, Frasier, Alf, Galactica, Leave It to Beaver. But I think the strength definitely is on the movies, and I think that's where they really lay. Let's check the chat here. Let's see what Toucan is saying. I want to check out Rabbit remake. Oh, that's by the Saska sisters, really? Then that might be pretty good because I enjoyed American Mary. If it's anything like American Mary, because Rabbit, I didn't think Rabbit was all that. I mean, it's a Cronenberg film, but I didn't think it was all that great. And of course, it was the star was Marilyn Chambers, who was a porno actress. She was also the Gerber baby food baby, and her acting skills, would be what you would think it would be from a porno star. So maybe the one from the Saska sisters might be better than the original. Have you seen your next yet for DHS next week? I have not. I have not. Was that? I think that was on there, wasn't it? On. I think I saw that on there. So yeah, no, I haven't seen that. I don't mind invasion movies though if they're done well. So some of the invasion movie stuff is good. I didn't care for Us, but I like some of them I watched. The Strangers, I thought was all right. A nice mix of horror. So it must be what mixed with what the comedy. It's kind of a comedic film. Huh. Yeah, the sci-fi movies they're not good, but the horror movies, I tell you, and they change those around a lot, and just a lot of classics, man. I mean, that's the thing. That's a big difference between the horror and the science fiction sections up there. Is the horror ones have a lot of '80s classics in there, and a lot of just classic '80s horror movies, but the sci-fi stuff has mostly all sci-fi network junk and very little classic or any kind of decent films. So it's surprising because I bet Universal does have a lot of science fiction movies going back to the 50s and 60s, and they're just not there. It could just be a rights thing. That's the problem. Is a lot of times it's just a rights thing. So I guess the question we on everybody's mind is it worth the money you're going to pay? Because let's face it, streaming services, man, they'll just suck the living shit out of you for money. I mean, I'm constantly canceling mine. I mean, I'll run them for a month and then cancel them. Of course, a lot of them, like Netflix, have figured out a way around that by dropping episodes every 2 weeks and stuff like that. That they want to retain you. So it's getting harder and harder to binge that. So you just wait until everything is done and then you just binge it. I mean, that's the way to do it. But yeah, I think it's worth $4.99 a month. I don't think I'd pay the $10 a month for commercial free, especially since they're pretty liberal with their commercials as far as putting them at the beginning and the end. So I don't think it's worth an extra $5 a month, but I think it's certainly worth $5 a month. It's like, I think like Paramount Plus is worth $5 a month for all their content. It's not a bad price, and certainly much better than Netflix, which is getting higher. $20 a month if you want 4K, and it just streaming services. I talked about this before. I mean, Netflix. Oh, really? Oh, it's worth it. I thought the first season was a little bit better than the second. The second season is pretty good. There's a couple clunkers, I think, in the second, but it's pretty good. It's definitely very faithful to the movies and done with a lot of good reverence to the movies, which is why I like it. Hey, Perry, how you doing? Perry, I think will be joining us tomorrow night for the movie. I believe he's going to show up and do Pandorum. Pandora is where the people from Avatar live, so it's Pandorum. So hope you'll see Perry tomorrow night. I know Perry loves a good horror and science fiction movie. But yeah, I got that. As Pedro says, 99 cents. Yeah, I got that same deal. And right around the middle of the year, around Black Friday, and usually at the end of the year, they'll have these deals where they'll do 99 cents a month, or down 99 a month. So if you hold out, you definitely will get a deal. Down 99 cents is a steal. But I think even $4.99 is worth it in the same way as like Hulu is like $8. Hulu is we'll have to do Hulu the next stream because Hulu has a decent selection of horror movies too. They're not too bad. But I think the Cock I think has a little bit better selection of classic horror movies. But Netflix pisses me off. First off, their app sucks. You can't find anything on it. They bury stuff that they don't want to show you. They charge you extra money for 4K over regular HD. And then they still have a thing called standard definition. They're still selling people standard definition video. And the thing that really sucked, they pulled out on everybody is they said, okay, they now have an ad related tier, right? So it used to be that the SD level was $7.99 a month for standard definition Netflix. So they said, okay, we're going to come out with a deal for everybody that doesn't, want to pay that or doesn't feel like they want another streaming service. We're going to have an ad-supported tier. Okay, so you're thinking, first off, well, it'll be like Tubi. It'll be free, but it'll be ad-supported. And what I actually is, I think the ad-supported one is, well, it's not free, and it's not having a lot of the hit shows until like a month or two later. But not only did they do that, the regular standard definition service was $7.99 a month, okay, for standard definition. So they said, okay, we're going to have this new ad-supported one that people thought was going to be free, but okay, when it wasn't free, they probably thought, okay, it'll be $5 a month. I'll save a couple of bucks. I watch a couple of ads, no big deal. Oh no, they made the ad-related service the same money, $7.99, and they raised the no ads to $10.99. So all these people thinking they'll either go back or they'll stay with what they have. Now, the same money you were paying, $7.99 a month, you're getting fucking commercials where you didn't have them before. And if you want the tier that you had back, well, now you got to give them $3 extra a month. Thank you very much, Netflix. Fuck you too. And they charge $5 extra for HD and 4K, and the 4K is compressed shit. So, and the worst thing I think about Netflix, and I don't want to turn it into a Netflix bitch session, but is that you can't find anything. New shows come out and they're buried. They released that Cabinet of Curiosities Del Toro show that I heard good things about and wanted to watch. I went there and it took me like 20 minutes to find it. Well, I literally had to type in the search bar Cabinet of Curiosities because it wouldn't come up with Cabinet of before it came up. Maybe they own the show and they want to bury it. I don't know. But I mean, they're just not one of the better services. I'm not a big Netflix fan, so that may be getting the heave ho in a short amount of time. But I think check it out. I think they give a 7-day trial, so subscribe to it for 7 days. Check it out. Maybe if you're a wrestling fan, do it around a wrestling event and watch a few movies at the same time and take advantage of it. Do that streaming shuffle and maximize your viewing and your profitability and everything else. So I guess that's all I got to say about the Peacock. Remember, great horror movies can be found at the Peacock or on the Peacock. So I don't know. We'll keep it open for a few more minutes if anybody else wants to talk and see anything else is going on. Yeah, I mean, I usually don't. Unless it's something that somebody tells me, it's like Dylan said, Cabinet of Curiosities is great. I went up there and checked it out. But man, $20 a month, I think it's going to go. The beginning of the year, it's gonna get ditched into the pit because I just don't think it's worth the money they're charging for it. So yeah, as I said before, the Cock. I tell you, you love the Cock. Everybody's got to love the NBC's got to come up with that. Everybody loves the Cock. I think it grabs you, it holds you that whole mantra. Give me the cock, Peacock, give it to me. So, I think what I want to say is that movie I saw today. If you haven't got a chance and you get a chance before Christmas, Violent Night, go see it. It's a good film. It's fun. David Harbour is good in it. I don't want to spoil anything. The ending, some people might say is a little schmaltzy, but I wouldn't expect anything less from what is ultimately even a Christmas movie. But the practical, well, not the practical effects, but because it did have digital blood, I believe, but it did it okay. But the kills in the movie are good. There is a lot of a very good fight choreography in the movie. It's fun. It's an hour and 52, so it's a little bit longer, but it never really didn't interest me. John Leguizamo, who plays basically the same part in every movie he's ever in, is still good in the same part he plays in every movie. He's still good in it here as the villain. It's a shameless ripoff of Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2. They even come out in the movie, they mention Die Hard because it's Die Hard, it's almost more Die Hard 2, but it has elements of both Die Hard 1 and Die Hard 2. Um, you know, they know it, but they play it up and they do it well. And I think it's going to do fairly well. As I said, I think probably within 45 days you'll see it on Peacock because they'll want to get it on there before Christmas, especially if it does good business in the next 3 weeks. I'll have to look up and see how much the movie cost to make. I'm sure it wasn't too cheap. Another person that's in this movie, well, I don't want to spoil it, who the actress is that plays the mother in the movie, but you'll see. Somebody from very, very popular in the 80s. So I enjoyed it. Go out and see it. Other than that, they showed some previews of some interesting things coming out. Horror-related wise, I'm still iffy on that M. Night Shyamalan movie that's coming out, Knock at the Door. It looks good, but usually so do all the trailers from M. Night Shyamalan movies, and then you get in there and they fall apart. But this got Dave Bautista in it. It's kind of an invasion type of movie, but they have a kind of a apocalyptic edge to it. So it looks interesting. I'm sure the crowd that likes to scream woke, woke, woke will be out and screaming because it's two dads with the girl. But who cares? It looks interesting, but will I go see it in the movies? I don't know. Maybe. It depends what else is out or if I have time. I probably won't, but we'll see. What else was? Oh, they showed the preview for that movie with the doll there, kind of like a Chucky, a female Chucky. It's from Blumhouse. There, Megan, I think it's called, or something like that. I don't know. The doll looks kind of creepy as shit. And some of those, it's kind of like Polar Express, where they have when they get that CGI animated look on the doll, that's just creeps me the fuck out, and I want to watch it. Plus, from what I understand, this movie's PG-13, so they took the cheap ass bitch route out of it to try to get the younger crowd when it's a movie that's really not meant for the younger crowd. I hate when movies try to get that younger crowd by taking a movie that, while the themes is still bad and not for a younger crowd, make it PG-13 so they can get into it and have everything off screen. It just pisses me off to no end. I hate when they do that. So that didn't look all that great, but who knows? Maybe it'll surprise me. They didn't show too much more for horror. They showed the Avatar trailer, obviously, and that's about it for horror. Although I did notice that, I think horror in the next year is going to be 2022 has been a hell of a year for horror movies. Black Phone, Barbarian, Terrifier 2, Nope, and a lot of the stuff we saw on the streaming services. I'm sure there's movies I'm forgetting. Will 2023 top it? I think you're going to see a lot of horror movies now. I mean, I think Smile was an eye-opener for the studios where they could take a movie that cost, $40 million and it's going to quadruple its and more, 5 times more its budget. So you're gonna see a lot more movies. A movie like Terrifier that was supposed to be in the theater for one night, made for like $250,000, made over like 9 or 10 million in its run, and stayed in theaters a lot longer. And you'll probably see movies that will go a little bit further in the horror because of Terrifier, because they saw there was an audience for that. So, they'll appeal to the audience, bring out a movie that they may have cut down before. So 2023, I think you're going to see now. That could be a good thing, and that could be a bad thing. It could be a good thing if we get these studios greenlighting more horror movies like what we've seen this year. Or it could be a bad thing if they start greenlighting everything just to get fucking movies out there. Sci-fi channel shit that doesn't deserve to be in the movies, and it gets greenlit, and they know it's gonna go on streaming, and they just want to get people's $12 for the first week, and that's it. Then that could be a bad thing. But I don't know. I think they're gonna. I think this could be this could be. We haven't had it. You think about it. The '80s was such a seminal decade for horror movies that while the '90s, had horror movies, the early 2000s sucked, and it picked up toward after 2010, especially with indies, a lot of indie stuff. There's always indie horror movies, but they got better, But could this be a resurgence? Could this be in like another 1980s this decade? Could 2020 be 22? Be that decade like the '80s was, where we're going to see seminal movies and directors come out of it? I mean, we had John Carpenter in the '70s. We got Ty West in 2020. We have Damien Leone now with the let's see where he goes from the Terrifier stuff. We still got M. Night Shyamalan. And we got so many other ones that you see directing movies on Shudder and so forth. Will this be a renaissance? Will this be a new horror renaissance? I think a lot of it has to do to, I love Marvel movies, but there's a lot of them in the theaters, and people maybe are looking for an option, something different. And horror movies can be that, because there's going to be so many different types of horror movies. Like we're going to see in a movie tomorrow night, Pandorum, which is science fiction horror, mystery horror, dystopian horror, religious horror. It can be so many different outlets for horror movies that they can explore, that it's wide open. It's anywhere they want to go with it. And I'm hoping that, and even Two Gun Pedro says I'm hoping we're going to see more. I do too. I'm hoping that this is going to be a resurgence, and I'd love to see that happen. Hell, I'd love to see a horror movie win Best Picture. That would be great. Not that the Oscars mean anything anymore, but it would be nice that something could showing that it's back. And I hope we get more, better and more science fiction movies. Really, science fiction movies kind of lacking in the theaters. I mean, you haven't really seen. I guess a lot of the Marvel movies can be considered to be sci-fi movies, but I want to see true sci-fi. I wish the Sci-Fi Channel. I wish there was a Sci-Fi Channel that didn't show fucking Fast and Furious and John Wick. I wish there was a Sci-Fi Channel that was like it was in the '80s, with great past shows, classic sci-fi movies, but it's not. But I wish that maybe they'd get there and then start producing, their own sci-fi movies that are up to the quality of the stuff that you're seeing on Shudder. Not, Mega Shark versus, Pterodactyl and all that other crap. Come out with good stories. Ex Machina was a great one that had elements of horror but last sci-fi. That type of stuff. That's what I want to see. So maybe somebody will come out with a Sci-Fi Channel, really good Sci-Fi Channel. So I guess I'll wrap it up here. Well, thank everybody, Two Gun for dropping by, Perry for dropping by. If you didn't, watch us, hopefully you'll catch it in the rerun if you're just coming in now in the rewind. We have some great stuff coming up on my channel and Dylan's channel and Robbie's channel. Robbie's going to be doing his usual Sunday night stuff coming up at 8:00 Central Standard Time. I understand he's going to have a really good show tonight. And then, of course, tomorrow night we got Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sojourns. We're going to be doing the 2009 film starring Dennis Quaid, Ben Foster, and Charlie Hunnam, and I think Julianne Moore. I think she's in that. Called Pandorum. So check that out if you haven't. It's not available in a lot of different places. I think the only place I've really seen it, it's all over the place if you want to pay for it, but there's not too many free outlets of it, unfortunately. But check it out. It doesn't cost much to rent the movie. And come join us tomorrow night for, I think it's going to be Dylan, Perry, and Steph, I believe, is going to be even in there. I think four of us talking about Pandora. And then on Saturday night, we're going to be doing You're Next on Dylan's Horror Show. And looking forward to doing that. And then I'm not sure what Robbie's got coming up on next week. We'll have to check that because I want to give a shout out to Robbie's channel. It was on the tip of my tongue, but of course, it's not anymore. So let's have a look if we can find it real quick. Yeah, Rock and Robbie. Okay, yeah. So Robbie will be on at 8 o'clock at Eastern Standard, 7 o'clock in Central Standard Time. And let's see if we can figure out what Robbie's going to be. Oh, that's it. How could I forget this? PCP movie night, which is tomorrow night, after my show, will be Go. That's a great movie. If you ever watched Go, and unfortunately it's out of print, but I think you can get it online. Go watch that and join Robbie to talk about Go, because that's a fantastic movie. It was such an early movie for like time shifting, different storylines, and it was such a great cast. So check that out tomorrow night after my show, which will be at 7:45 tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time. Robbie comes on at 9, 8 Central, for his review of the movie Go. And then join us at Dylan Horror Show next week for You're Next, which Two Gun Pedro says is a very good movie. We'll see. We will see. I hope it's not like Invisible Man. We argued about that last night. I know Verno is watching Invisible Man right now, trying to decide whether the 1933 movie is a classic or not. It is, Verno. All right, we're going to get out of here. Well, thank everybody for stopping by. Hope you catch us on the rewind. Like and subscribe. We're going to be coming up with some good stuff in the month of December. We got great movies coming with you on the review, and over on this channel, Dylan's, and of course, your PCP Army and Robbie's channel. We'll be bringing you great stuff almost every night of the week. And Robbie won an award for the best comic review channel and presenter. And man, that he does, his stuff is, I'm always watching. I'm getting less and less. I still read. I buy trades. I got out of the floppies, but I check out Robbie's show every week because I know, there's gonna be stuff there I want to see and how good it is. And Robbie earned everything. He's getting that reward. He's worked his tail off to get it. So check that out. And I'm gonna say, stay tuned, all you guys, and join us tomorrow night when we review Pandorum on Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sojourns. We'll catch y'all guys later. Remember, for great horror, it's on the cock. Later, guys.